On your backs, on the ball, cross
You sure?
hands.
You sure what?
They pinch my face at the end.
On the back,
On your backs. On your backs, on the ball.
Oh, yes.
On your balls, under your bum.
Under her thumb?
Under your bum.
Is that not better side?
You're most photogenic side, basically.
Yeah. So the trousers just loosen up. We got good faces for radio, John, haven't we?
It's good job I've got a bottom for YouTube.
You need more pillows.
How you doing, Hannah?
I'm alright.
I like your zip-up. What did you say?
That thing even works. It's to not stop the grunting and groaning, that's what it is.
Perfect one.
First two, anyway. Don't you, Jane?
Do we get a refund for this time we're missing?
Where's the camera? Where's the camera?
I'll get it.
Some of us are using our ball on this ball.
Make sure you haven't got any hard blocks under your hands, so either the soft one or no block. It's a bit tricky music, isn't it? You want to make sure that the ball is under the hard part of the pelvis. So the ball doesn't want to be on your lower back, although some of the balls are different sizes, so your ball might come towards the back, but make sure the weight, the main part of the ball is under the hips. So feet on the floor, knees bent. And we're just going to start with a little bit of breathing and some pelvic tilts just to wake the body up. So take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, roll your pelvis towards you and hold it there. Okay. So in this position, I want you to think of your rib cage. Can you draw your rib cage down towards the floor? So almost like you're trying to get that whole rib and the lower back on the floor. But obviously you're on a ball, so there's going to be a little bit of space. Notice the back of your legs. Are they firing up or are they nice and relaxed? So who's got jelly legs, who's got hard legs?
What are you supposed to have?
Jelly legs.
Oh, the mine are really hard.
You sure it's the legs that are hard, John?
Oh, please.
He just wants me to confront them. Hannah's laughing, at least that saves me a job.
That's it for 2 weeks today.
Too smutty for me, this class.
Oh, yeah.
You're encouraging it, Dawn. And then relax back to the start. So when you come back to the start, I want you to check and make sure that your pelvis comes back to a neutral pelvis. So by neutral, it's different to neutral spine because you're on the ball. So your neutral pelvis, 2 hips, pubic bone parallel to the floor. So can you rest your cup of tea between the hip bones? So that might feel like your back is arching a little bit. So you just have to suck the rib cage in. So we'll do one more, breath in. Roll the pelvis towards you, draw your rib cage down. Hips to rib cage. So have a little game with yourself. How close can you draw this area in towards each other, ribs and hips? Softening the back of the legs. Did you cramp there, John?
Yeah.
Interesting why you cramp when you shouldn't be using those muscles.
You said hard muscles. Now we're the other muscles.
Around there.
Oh, right.
Good. So check your hamstrings and your bums, make sure they are switched off. So you might have some feet flickering and stuff because you're on a ball, so you're unbalanced. and then relax back to the start. Bringing yourself back into your neutral pelvis. And then I want you to bring your weight onto the ball. So soften your feet. So at the moment, the weight's probably in the feet, a little bit in the ball, and a lot in your back and your shoulders. So send all the weight onto the ball so that your feet become light. Everyone got that? So you should feel the strong connection around your tummies. Now you want to have that connection, but you want your feet touching the floor. So you want to feel the material of the mat. Now make sure that as you have the strong connection that your belly button is not popping out. So remember, we want to work inside muscles, so we have to draw the tummy in. Relaxing your neck and your shoulders. So now, allow your left leg to float up towards the ceiling. When it comes up, hold it there. In a knee fold. Don't think I've ever done that move before. So, once your left leg is up, check the right foot. Is it soft? Is it heavy? Is it trying to balance you? What about your hands? Are you trying to use your hands for balance? Maybe the back of the arms. Is the neck tensing up? The shoulders, the jaw? And allow your left leg to float down. And then allow the right leg to float up. So again, checking your left leg, make sure it's soft. Tummy is in, shoulders are relaxed. And then allow the right leg to come down. So keep going. So now as you move through your left and your right, are your hips wobbling left and right? So can you feel your weight shifting to the left and to the right? Or maybe you can feel your weight shifting forward and back. Now ideally, the weight wants to be in the same place the whole time. That's your challenge. Keep checking to make sure that that belly button is not popping. Now take your hands up towards the ceiling and keep going. So just do 2 or 3 more. That's a toe tap, Mark.
Right, yeah.
2 or 3 more, and then you can give your knees a hug. So does it make it harder with your hands up?
Yes.
Maybe you started using your shoulder blades now to help you balance. Is everyone feeling this?
Yeah.
Anybody not feeling it?
Well, dare you say you're not feeling it.
Well, I need to make sure you really like it. So once you've done, finish on the right side, give your knees a cuddle. Did you do your swimming walk last night?
Yeah.
Did you win or lose?
John won.
Did you? Oh, good. And Jane?
I put on £0.5.
Half a pound. Did Judith go?
Yeah.
And?
I put on £1.
See, I don't actually know what a pound is. So in my head, it's not many.
I lost a bag of sugar.
Oh, that's actually quite good though. Well, a small bag or a big bag?
I got my 10% weight loss.
Oh, good. You see, I work in kilograms, I don't really know.
What I said, 2.2 pounds for a
It is
kilo.
more or less, isn't it? 2.5,
Yeah.
It's 1.1.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done it for about 3 years. Yeah.
So, double legs now, one leg at a time. So feet back on the floor, nice and soft. We feel those little abs. We rest. So feet on the floor, nice and soft. Tummy's in, shoulders relaxed. So breath in, left leg floats up, exactly like you've just done. So now what I want you to think about is the contact points between your pelvis and the ball. And imagine you're trying to push that ball down through the mat so that that connection gets even stronger. And the right leg should feel softer and lighter so that it floats up to meet the left leg. So you want to try and lift the leg without much effort. Now once you have your legs up, bring your knees together and your feet together. And now take your hands up towards the ceiling. And balance. So the principles of Pilates is balance, focus, concentration, breathing, precision, flow. Not much flow going on here. But start to think of a pink elephant.
What? How many gins have you had? No.
A pink elephant. Or a white one, whatever. Basically, when you think about something else, does it affect your balance? So if you're not focusing on what you're doing, you're not concentrating. So you can relax. No, actually, let's make it a bit harder. You're all doing really well. Start to straighten your legs a little bit more, whether it's up towards the ceiling or 45 degrees, your choice. Make sure that tummy is drawing down.
Whoa.
So it's very hard for us to challenge our balance when we're always lying on the floor. This is why we like to use the balls. So whether you have this little wiggle doesn't really matter. It's good to have the wiggle. But can you stay on the ball if you have the wiggle? And the giggles. The wiggles and the giggles.
It's hard when you giggle.
Now bring your knees in.
When you wiggly.
And give your knees a hug. Once you've given your knees a hug, send your legs back into tabletop. All right, Jane.
Yes, I'm just going to do it.
So now that you're back in tabletop, allow your left leg to float back down, nice and slowly. And remember, this action comes from your hip joint, not the knee joint. So be aware of just dropping your heel to your bum and then foot to floor. Once your left is down, bring your right leg down. Stay connected, no relaxing in between. And then allow the right leg to float up. And then how slow can you take the left up? So as you lift in the leg, where are you feeling it? Maybe some people are going to feel it in the abdominals more. Maybe some people in your hip flexors more, in the hip joint. Now how slow can you bring your right leg back down? Send your knee away from the body as you take it down. And then once the right foot touches the floor, left leg can come down. You're going to do one more on each side. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can take your hands up towards the ceiling. The Maunders are very quiet this morning.
I'm concentrating. I'm really bad at this.
I wouldn't say so, Sally.
Just another word, isn't it?
What, with the hands up?
Yeah.
What happens?
I can't even lift myself off the floor. Literally can't.
Are you heavy enough in the pelvis?
Oh, maybe not. Maybe that's enough.
I think it depends on how your ball's inflated as well.
Thanks, Roy. That didn't help.
Something you shouldn't say to a man lying next to you.
No chance. Absolutely.
Might need to get the compass.
Is it like that on both sides?
Well, mine's really sort of down at the moment, so it's quite comfortable.
What, your balls?
Yeah. Ball.
Literally
Singular.
can't lift it.
Singular.
Bizarre.
Actually, it's quite comfortable.
Yeah.
Just about.
So now your aim is just, it doesn't matter if you want it, it's just to stay on that.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
on each side. Because John's been talking about balls again. Once you've done your ones, have a nice big stretch. And then we'll come off of the ball and just feel the space under the back of the pelvis, the hips. Hopefully it feels quite nice. And give your knee a hug.
Yours is quite hot, though.
Yours is quite hard, did you say? How close are they together?
Stop imagining things.
So you're jealous because you haven't asked to see his ball.
Yeah,
Exactly.
especially on our outside.
Move down, though.
I don't think we should allow men in this class.
No, we've got to give even numbers.
Well, I'm very quiet.
So you lower the tone.
Mark knows
Yeah.
better.
I'm still half asleep.
So we are going to put the ball under our feet, legs bent. Oh, I'm going to get a tissue for this sneeze. Ready for spine curls.
Near the bum or
Process what you've said.
yeah,
Like some sort of special needs child.
Sign language.
you want them near the bum.
Well, we're going to have to play with that.
All right.
You need to flex into
Jump in the gun. So, in relation to spine curls, we'll have a play with the feet positioning. So just wherever you want to have your feet to start with. We ready?
Yes, dear.
Head down, hands down.
Oh.
Be conscious of your arms with this. You are probably going to use them to start with, but just be mindful of your arms. So take a breath in, roll the pelvis towards you like we did at the beginning. So remember, pelvic tilt, no bum cheeks, no hamstrings. Get that lower back into the floor with your core. Then you're going to squeeze your bum nice and hard and start to peel your bum up towards the ceiling. Lift, 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 lift. Go on, darling, lift that bum. Yeah, so who's feeling this in the legs?
Yes.
Make sure that this weight is not going into your neck and your head. And roll down since you all come down. Very, very crampy, isn't it?
Yes.
Just because you had a bad night last night doesn't mean So, what I want you to try and do now, I won't use please because his bits might fall out. Just get your feet as close to the bum as you can, so that when you come up, you want to try and get your knees directly over the ankles as quick as you can to try and minimize how much your hamstrings kick in. They have to work. You can't not work the back of the legs. But the further your feet go from your bum, the more those hamstrings are going to kick in. And then try and focus all your crunching on the bum. So the more dominant you can be in your glutes, the less the hamstrings are going to want to try and do everything. Because our hamstrings are very dominant muscles. So in your own time, so that you can focus. So ideally, you want that ball as close to your bums as you can. Good, nice, Andrew. And then when you come up, get that weight on there as quick as you can, knees directly above the ankles. And does that change it? And then bring us up with that. Yeah. Oh, so good. Not really.
Can we go down yet?
Yes.
Oh,
So, Jean, see if you can slide your feet closer towards it, although it's going to kick in those hamstrings down when you try to slide.
It's painful.
Yeah. So what happens sometimes is the ball slides away a little bit as you come up, and then when you're trying to pull that ball in, you are using those hamstrings to try and bring the ball in. You've got to try and keep those feet next to the bump the whole time. So just do one more. Good. Make sure there's no weight in your neck. Oh, Jane, you are going to cramp on that one. Breathe, John. Oh. How is Mark getting on there in the corner?
Struggling.
Oh,
Very crampy, as you say.
yeah, really crampy.
Oh, it's really good in the morning.
Shall we do one leg?
No. Let's not.
What, one leg?
One leg on the ball. Or you could do a leg lift if you want. Oh, look at you, John.
Oh, you're putting that stomach in.
God knows.
Now you're going to do the other leg. Well done.
Is it something to do with the male anatomy that makes that easier?
Something to do with counterbalance, I guess.
Having more balls than anyone else to balance on.
I think it's reformer, actually.
We do a lot of this kind of stuff on the reformer.
You're right.
But how much did you use your arms? So, here's my next challenge. Oh, look at you. Well done. We just do one more. But this time, start with your hands up towards the ceiling.
Leg lift or the...
And then just the normal ones on the ball. But start with the hands up towards the ceiling. So all I want you to notice is even in your head, earlier you're thinking, I'm not using my arms. Because there's so much going on in the body.
I'll do one leg.
Oh, go on then, if you want to show off.
Only because it's on video.
So, show.
Can't get up.
But so, isn't it quite amazing how much you do actually use your arms? You think you're not using your arms. So just having them on the floor offers a little bit of security. It might even be a mental thing, like I'm not using my arms, but I know my arms are on the floor in case I need them.
Oh, that's so painful.
So shall we give those hamstrings a little stretch? Pop your ball under your bum again, and then take both your legs up towards the ceiling. We'll give those hamstrings a stretch. So take your legs perpendicular to the ceiling first and point your feet. So for some people you might not even feel this in the hamstrings yet, depending on how tight the hamstrings are. So now breathe in. Now when you exhale, flex your feet and then send your feet towards you, your legs towards you, keeping them straight. Oh, Andrew.
Please don't.
So maybe you can hold onto the back of the legs to try and pull them in towards you. And then point, let them go again, release them a little bit. Flex, pull them in towards you, straight legs. As straight as you can, should I say. Obviously, providing you're getting this in the back of the legs, that's all I'm after. Point, release, one more. And then flex, pull the leg in closer. And then relax. Good, so give the knees a hug. So when you're on the ball, what I want you to see if you can achieve is that your hips and your shoulder are in one line. So sometimes when we're on the ball, we tend to be a little bit more of a slopiness,
Feel it as well.
which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. For the next exercise, I want us to try and be in a straight line. So you should have quite a big gap under your back. Oh. So Jean, you're going to start rolling off your back in a minute.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
So you might want to just come down off one more pillow.
Sorry?
Just one.
You get to one position, you think, oh, something else has got to do.
So once you're in that nice straight line, I want you to put your hands on your belly, between your belly button and your pubic bone.
Can't find that.
What, the pubic bone or the belly
The
button?
belly button, it's gone.
Mark, is that your, by your pubic bone? There.
No, yeah, it's there, yeah.
Yeah. I always sort of say where babies will grow, but I don't know where babies will grow, so. So just be careful with this one, Peter, and your bits. So, have your legs straight up towards the ceiling. The back is in a straight line, so if you're in standing, ideally what we aim for is that neutral spine. But yes, you're on a ball, so it's technically not going to be that quite that neutral. So you want to have that little curve in the lower back, all the way to across the shoulders, and your pelvis is in neutral alignment with your spine. So now, take a breath in, and you're going to slowly start to send your feet to the floor with straight legs, without the pelvis rolling back and forward. Dissociation of the hip. This is happening with your thigh bones. You get to the point where the belly starts popping. Stop there. Take a breath in. Pull that tummy in and try and go that tiny bit further and then pull the legs up. So you want to work just outside of your comfort zone. But you want to make sure that, especially if you're taking the legs quite low for these boys on this side, that this back is not doing this now. You've got to have everything pulled in and then up. Okay? So you take it down as far as you can. When you feel the tummy starting to lift, stop there, breathe in. Really focus on putting that tummy in a bit more and then pull it back up again. And is there any tension in your neck and your shoulders and your jaw? Who's not breathing? Challenging?
Sorry.
Dawn, how does that ball feel for you?
Not very erotic.
I'm just thinking it might be a little bit high for your back.
Like one of those little knobbly ones.
Like, is it on your, does it feel like it's anywhere near your spine?
I've got a lot of padding, don't you worry. Are you happy there?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Otherwise, it puts the pulse in a funny shape. So, one more, and then we're going to add on to that. So, pull that tummy in. That's better. In. All the way down. We don't want any belly buttons popping out.
No drum.
Or other things.
It pops out, Jane, you find it.
Yeah, or other things, Pete.
I'm holding mine in, don't worry about that.
He's on camera with his hands down his pants.
He's got that right wing shirt popping out.
What's his excuse?
So, give your knees a hug, and we are now going to take this into rollovers.
Oh, I can't do that.
So,
Oh.
for those of you that don't want to do the full rollover, you can just stick to this legs that we've just done. That is still building incredible strength in the tummy. You can maybe try and get the legs up, but use your arms, building strength in your arms. So lots of little things you can do with that. triceps, the shoulders, all those posterior muscles. So, breathe in, start to take those legs down as you breathe out. And you're going to stop. So it's only a tiny little one. Now, breathe in again, and as you exhale, now think of that stretch that we did with the legs. You're going to take your legs all the way over your head. So if you need to use a little bit of momentum, that is fine, but be careful your necks.
He's on fire this morning. Look at
Helen's lost a ball.
I can't do it slowly. I can't do it fast.
Hold your rollovers there. So ideally with the rollover, we want straight legs. So if your hamstrings are screaming, point a little bit, and now start to bring yourself down. So think of spine curls, one vertebra down at a time. You need to use your hands there, use your hands there. But as you come down, you want to focus on stretching off the back of the legs.
I'm just happy to get up.
I love you.
And it's like that.
Oh.
So, drop the legs slightly, tummy in, pull the legs past over the head. Once you're in your rollover, take a moment to check your neck. You are not on your necks.
what noise coming from you, John?
Now, stretch out through your knees. So really straighten those legs. For those of you that are finding this manageable, flex your feet. Now open your legs wide. And now roll down. Oh.
I was going to use Bruce Force, but it didn't work.
Good. Oh, and stretch those legs. Oh, yeah. Once you come down, bring your legs together. And we'll do one more. So,
Keeps moving.
you're right down.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
So, taking your legs over again. Your next challenge, if you choose to take it, is when you start coming down, how high to the ceiling can you actually take the legs as you come down? So now we're trying to open the space in the hips. Yeah, so from there, John, start to lift your legs higher towards the ceiling, and now start coming down. It's harder. Feel that? And then once you come down, you can come off your balls. Good job, everybody. Well done.
It's only because I'm pulling my legs.
And then bring yourself into seated position.
Oh, right. Get the leverage.
So if you need to sit on a block to make this easier for your legs, you can sit on a block. That's an exercise of its own.
It is, I think you do that on purpose, you know. My ball make me away.
Poor you, Sally. You're going to look at that.
Made mine.
You make one day for
So, legs can be anywhere. So whether you want your legs there, wider, it doesn't really matter, okay? If your hamstrings are pulling really badly, you can point your toes just to release them. You can bend your knees slightly, but this is going to get you more in the hips there. So whatever you need to do to release the legs, because we're working on the spine. So have your ball to the front of you. So with your feet, point or flex. Doesn't matter which one, just choose one so that your feet are not just hanging off your ankles. Have some purpose in your feet. So, nice and tall. Stretch up. So think of lifting your rib cage up towards the ceiling, shoulder roll back and down. So breath in, take your chin above your collarbones first. So in that position, I haven't started rolling yet. I'm still nice and tall. Pull those shoulders back. Now draw your chin under your collarbones. Pull the tummy in, and now start to walk your ball away. So as far as you can go. And remember, it is only 25 to 9 in the morning. So be gentle with your legs. The muscles might still be a little bit colder than what they would be at the end of the day. And then start to walk your ball back towards you. Stack your spine from the bottom to top, and then have a little shoulder roll, and get ready for the next one. So pointing or flexing. Nice and tall, chin into the collarbones. Then pull it down, then draw the tummy into your back. Walk your hands away from you. And then hold it there. So if you think of your heart or your sternum, see if you can push the front of your body into the upper back, in between the shoulder blades. And we're really trying to stretch off each part of the spinal column. Yes, you can't stretch bones, but next to your spine is full of muscles. Now draw your hands back towards your feet. Stack from bottom spine to top of spine. Have a nice big shoulder roll when you get to the top. You need to give your legs a little shake and your shoulders. And off we go again. Chin tuck. Send your ball away from you. This time trying to go that little bit deeper into it. We're going to have a play with the feet on this one. So I want everyone to point and see if you can go that little bit further and hold it there. Now remember, when it comes to stretching, if you are fighting it, it's very hard for the body to release into it. So you need to let go of your body and let your body open up without effort, which is challenging if you are feeling this. So now very gently flex your feet without coming out of that stretch. You should find that a little bit harder. Feel it, Jane? Are you enjoying that? Enjoy is a strong word. Now bring your hands back. Grow nice and tall, shoulder roll. So we're going to start with flexed feet this time. So nice and tall, chin tuck. Belly button in, draw your chin down, reach the ball away. So remember, your shoulder girdle moves. So where a lot of the time we want to keep that arm in the peripheral vision, we want to work functionally with that shoulder, but we still do need to move the shoulder girdle. So get the whole shoulder joint stretching forward as well. So keeping those legs flexed. Think of drawing your kneecaps towards your hips, so contract your quad muscles. It's going to help those hamstrings to relax a little bit more, even though it doesn't feel like it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come back up. And relax. Good. So we're going to come onto front line now. Have your ball in front of you. So we often do these with the rollers. We're going to do swan. So you want to make sure, I'm going to use a mat for this one, for mine it might get squished.
Rude boy.
You what? What was you doing, Sally?
Slightly worried. John was giggling.
He was like this, oh, it's been a while.
Pete's worked out if you put your finger over the ball and look at it.
You're wiggling a lot, Pete.
What?
Well,
Or just call him John a bender. Just send him a little thing saying he's a bender.
He's a
That's
child.
his joke.
Yeah. They never grow up to them. So, on the mat, or you need to be completely forward. So I will actually do that. So like my head would be practically off the mat. You don't want to see my head. So have your hands on top of the ball, and my head is down. So your legs can be turned out and wide, or parallel and parallel, and neutral. So remember, we want to use the core without squeezing the whole body. So the first part is just pulling your belly button away from the mat without squeezing your bum. Then you're going to start to lift your head without squeezing your bum. And then pull the ball towards you with your shoulders without squeezing your bum. So I can't go any further than this. If I want to lift higher, now I've got to squeeze my bum to lift the body. But you want to make sure that your shoulders are not climbing up towards your ears. You've got to pull those shoulders down and then roll the ball back down again. So I'm also going to do a very quick swan dive, because we're going to do the swan dive as well, or we're going to try. So we're going to come up. Okay. You're right, Jane.
Yes, I do.
So have your arms out. Oh, there's Jackie's off. Nice, Jackie. Chin up, John. If you're going to do swan dive, find the point of the ceiling and keep looking at it. Chin up, Peter, the whole time. There we go.
Haven't I got to do the first bit first?
Well, they're already off on it, Jane.
Can I do the first bit
Of
then?
course you can.
Thank you.
Do you want me to talk you through it? Let me come and talk you through it, Jane.
It's easier on the roller because you can get your hands wide.
Yeah, this is very close.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So,
It doesn't run so
belly button going,
You've done it really well, Jackie.
and then start to lift your head. Pull the ball towards you without any bums working. Is your bum working?
Let's try not to.
And then squeeze your bum and lift. Yeah. And then providing the shoulders, especially for your back. Chin up, put Pete.
Look at myself in the hour.
Oh, that's interesting, Andrew. There's a bit of a sidewall there.
Not sure what happened, no idea what.
So one glute's firing more than the other one. Has everyone had a play?
Yeah.
So you can bring yourself into a cat first, and then maybe a child pose if you want a child. Whatever feels nice for you. And then we're going to do a little bit of shredding. Shredding.
What will be me late? Threading me later.
Are you doing more? That thing you made, Louise, was beautiful.
Did you like it? Did you?
Oh, how long did that take to make?
The actual top doesn't take long. It's a project because I do it by hand.
Yeah.
It takes hours.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You try and do a couple of hours every day.
Yeah.
And
What was it, Jackie?
quilt.
It was all like bees and bumblebee. It was stunning. You'd like it because of all the little needlework things. So, I think I might picture. We're going to come onto all fours now. And you're going to grab your ball. So I'm going to do a prep one first for anybody that doesn't want to add in a push-up. And then for those that want to do the push-up, we'll do that part as well. But you first want to start with your knees under your hips, wrists and elbows, so all fours, okay? If I'm just doing the stretch part, back of the hand on the ball, keeping my left arm straight, I'm just going to turn. So all I'm focusing on is the turning, the rotation of the spine. Often what happens when we do the thread, people come to a bit of a cat, so can you see my upper back?
Yeah.
You still want to lengthen into there. So that's probably about as far as I can go. So all I'm going to do is just focus on breathing into my back. And it will give a bit of a stretch, and then you can change sides. So that is if you just want to do your Oh, that's really tight on that side. So, if you are going to do the push-up part, you want to make sure that whenever you bend your arms, your hands are not rolling. Your hands need to be firm on the floor the whole time, because that is your anchor point down. Okay? You're going to hurt your wrists. So back to the hand of the ball. Now I'm going to look at where the ball is going, and I'm going to bend my elbows same direction as the ball. My ear is aiming to go there. Pass me the pink cushion, please. I want my ear to the pink cushion, so I'm going to bend. And then come up. And then other side. What's going to happen is this.
You end up sitting down.
Yeah. Off you go. Which, like I said, it's fine if you're sitting down. If you've got arthritis, if you've got bad wrists, and you need to take some of the weight off the body, by all means, sink the heels to the bums a little bit. But make that a conscious action rather than just, it's your form that's lacking. So Di, if you bring this hand over there, that way better. So is there anybody doing a push-up part that feels like it's too easy? That wants to make it harder? Yes. Always think of the spine, long spines.
Is it to get you there?
Yeah, so it
That's
gives
where you
you a
feel
massive
it here.
stretch. Yeah, so when you go that way, you should get a big
here,
stretch into there. And then, of course, your arm is strengthening your serratus anterior, all your shoulders.
Do you go to stretch first before you go down?
You both at the same time. Yeah. So if you hold that. And then, the more you put your weight in there, the more you can push your weight. I really love the threads with the balls because the ball can take some of the weight. Like I said, by all means, if you don't want to do the push-up part, you just focus on that stretch.
And then your arms should be bent on that one, should
If you're just doing the stretch, well, you can keep it straight on the stretch. So once you've done to your opposite sides what you started with, make that your last one. Come, time's flown today, and we've done half of my time. So in seated position. Have the ball in your hands and knees bent, toes up or toes down, entirely up to you, bring the ball out to the front of us. So we're going to go into a half roll back and we're going to hold the half roll back. So we're going to do knee folds in this position so my feet are light. So you really need to draw in the tummy. Maybe you're in that position. It doesn't really matter where you are, provided you feel it. So from there, you're going to lift, take it down, lift, take it down. So remember, this comes from the hip rather than the knee. Okay? So we'll do 4 knee folds on each side. So take a breath in, and then into your half roll back. So draw that tummy in, ribs, hips come together. Feet are soft. And now, take a breath in. Exhale, pull the left knee to the chest. And take it down. Inhale, pull the right knee towards the chest. Take it down. Keep going. So ideally the angle of the knee is staying the same. It's the hip joint that is moving. Everyone feeling it?
I find it's incredibly hard.
Really, John?
Sorry. I know you worry about me, but...
It's because you're moving all your weight. That's why it's harder.
Yeah.
So once you've done your 4 on each side, come up. I'm going to make doubles now. So same as what you've just done. Up, up, down, down, and then you change sides. Up, up, down, down. 2 on each.
You get your toes on the ground.
That doesn't matter, you can have your toes. No. I mean, it does change the exercise. It doesn't really matter. It's not it's not whose feet aren't even touching the floor to start with? There's a lot of like double knee folds like in the air. Does help when you've got longer arms as well. Is it fantastic? Is it really heavy?
I can only do one.
It's fine.
I've got to
Yeah.
do both.
Can you do that leg first and then the other one? You do that, yeah. So, we're going to go back to the single ones, but we're going to change our arm position. So from here, now we're going to take the hands to there. Be aware that your shoulders are not over there, they want to be dropped down. So breath in, exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. 4 on each side, and that's the last part. So, remember, we're not moving your knee joint, you're moving your hip joint. So, go back. You ready? There. Be aware of lifting that. You are lifting. Come to see it. Sorry. There, so that's not working. In that. So see if you can keep that angle exactly the same.
Oh, I feel that.
It's a spot, isn't it?
Yeah. So, on your back, pop the ball under your head, the best part. So you can, if you don't like the ball, by all means you can take it away, you don't have to stay in there. But send your legs down to the end of the mat. And then take your hands either to the floor behind you, depends on your shoulder mobility, or just above you a little bit. So from here, just reach that left arm away. So remember how fascia is wrapped in the body, it's like a spiral, all crossways, all funny directions. So reach that left arm, whether it's the wall or a little bit higher, doesn't really matter. Relax the left arm. And then reach with the right arm. So think of reaching right from your hip bones, that whole side, the whole shoulder, right up to the elbow, the space between the elbow and the wrist, and your fingers. And then relax that one. Both arms. Reach, 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 reach. And then relax the arms. Left leg to the opposite side of the room. So reach that left one. Same thing, your toes, the soles of your feet, the top of your feet, the ankles, calves, knees, right out of that hip joint. and then relax that leg. Change legs. So reach out with the other side. Imagine you were trying to touch the person opposite you. And then relax. Now both legs. So pulling the bottom half of the body away from the midriff. And then bring the legs back in. And now both arms, and oh no, not both. Left arm and right leg. Left arm and right leg. And then change sides. Right arm and left leg. Think of stretching like a star. And then relax those. Now both arms and both legs. How's that feeling on the shoulders? Tight. Yeah. That's really breathing into this rib cage when you're in this stretch. And then relax down. Take your hands down next to the side. And relax. So if you want to give your neck a little massage or stretching, just going to take your head over to the left. Think of left ear to left shoulder. A little bit of pressure into the ball. And then hold it there for a few breaths. Give that muscle, or those muscles, a chance to stretch off. Remember, we need to hold stretches for a little bit. And then back over to the other side. You may notice one side feels a lot tighter. Maybe it's more restricted. Maybe it pulls more. And then back over. So just do a few more on each side. Just let the weight of your head go from side to side. Becoming aware of the breath. The rising of the rib cage and the belly. Allowing your breaths to lengthen and deepen. Starting to give your toes a wiggle, your ankles, your knees, your calves, fingers, wrists. Just wake the whole body up. Giving your knees a hug, we're going to roll onto our sides. Ready to come into standing. So for those of you that need to just come up any way that is safe, please do. If you get dizzy, then just bring your head back down again. So on all fours, and we're going to be in this position. So, we're going to roll up. Have a look at me quickly, or just look. So we're going to keep our hands next to the head as you come up, okay? So breath in, relax your neck and your shoulders. As you breathe out, draw that tummy into your back so get your belly to push your spine up. Arms stay next to the ears the whole time. Pull the tummy in the rib cage and the sternum in. Lift the hands up towards the ceiling. Feel nice? Yeah. So we'll do one more. So breath in. From here, chin tuck. Now keep the arms next to the ears. Pull your sternum in and really stretch the upper spine. If you need to soften your knees, soften your knees. Try and round through the back as much as you can. Once you're at the bottom, release the neck, the shoulders. Last one. Breath in. Bring yourself up, keeping those arms right next to the ears. Pull in the sternum to you come up, there's muscles around there. And then once you come up, relax your hands down. Keep the balls in the hands, you can do a flunk. And then bring yourself back to the front. So last one, breath in, reach up towards the ceiling. Bring yourself down and kick your ball. Shall I get the boxes and let's see who can get it in? Or a matron. Oh, who's that?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
It's a good day.
Have another go.
The cushion's staying out, Tanya.
Yes, everything can stay out. Ball's got a clasp.